This programme is the Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli. The Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli arrives at Brands Hatch in Kent on a beautiful sunny Saturday, and a celebration here at Brands Hatch today of all things Porsche. Everybody being sensible and socially distancing. The only thing that won't be distanced are the cars, of course, once they're out on track. This is the third event of the 5-weekend series. Let's have a look at the championship positions after Alton Park, which was the last round. Class 1 and outright tie between Simon Clark and Mark McAleer. James Cayley in third from Pete Morris with Chris Dyer in fifth. Jake McAleer next up. Class 2 headed by Ross Morris from Matt Kyle Henney and James Coleman. Charles Clark in fourth place from Bill Cayley. And in Class 3, championship lead with Paul Simpson from Mike Thompson, Stephen Shaw and Alistair Nelson.
Great to welcome back Kevin Harrison to the championship. Kevin, where you been, mate?
Well, a bit of a disastrous season last year, as you know. We had 2 wins and then disaster struck on second race day. And then we managed to sort of fix the car, went to Alton Park, ended up in the barriers again because of another incident. So it was a bit of a mess last year, so we put it to bed. And because of COVID, we weren't going to race at all this year, but I thought, well, do you know what? Home track, nice sunny day. Let's go out and treat myself, which is why we're here.
I'm with Chris Dyer here. We've had 1 practice session so far, 5th in the championship, but you were telling me 3rd on drop scores, so it's a limited campaign, but you guys have your finger on the pulse, don't you?
Yeah, we just we sort of, I'm using this as a bit another learning year. It's a new car, built a new car for the start of season, so we're just using it as a learning curve and different suspension on it. So we are where we are, and we'll see if we're at like 3rd at end of year. That'll be a great result.
Paul Simpson, congratulations on taking class pole position. Things are looking good to defend the championship lead here at Brands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is my home circuit, so I should do well here. This is where I get most of my practice done, so yeah, looking good at the moment.
Have you raced here before?
Yeah, I've raced in another race series here quite a few times, yeah.
What car was that?
That was in a 944, so a Porsche still, but an old 944 S2.
Mike Thompson, 2nd in Class 3 at the moment, and I believe your first time on the Indy circuit here at Brands.
It is, yeah. I've only ever done the GP circuit the one time, and then this is, first time on the Indy.
How are you finding it? Is it a big difference for a newcomer?
It's not a massive difference. Some of the corners, most of the corners are the same. It's just the one getting onto the pitch straight that I'm trying to figure out the best line for and the quickest way down the straight, but I'm sure I'll get there hopefully.
I think this is going to be your first competitive outing this year. Talk us through the problems you've had so far.
It is, yeah. I mean, I think we're a bit like the comeback kid. We tried a couple of rounds ago at Snetterton, and we didn't even make qualifying, to be fair. The engine blew up in practice, so that was a bit disappointing. But stayed on and supported the team. And then we went last month to Alton Park, and again, I think we did 2 laps of qualifying, and on the second lap the gearbox went. So it'll actually be a year since I drove a car. So I'll just go out and enjoy it today, not expecting too many things.
Jake, a change of car for you this weekend. What's the story?
Well, it certainly wasn't planned. As of 2 days ago, we were still planning to race the Coleman this weekend. We've come a long way with that car, and we actually thought we'd be quite close to the pace with it this weekend. Unfortunately, we just had a few things we couldn't get fixed in time. To be honest, I mean, testing's really hard to get done these days, and we just didn't have time for that car. It was just one of those really where you've got to dust yourself down and get back up.
A splendid grid forms up on the Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch for the 5th race of the season. Mark McAleer on pole, Kevin Harrison alongside, then Simon Clark and Jake McAleer row 2. Class 2 headed by James Coleman from Matt Kyle Henney. Andy Muggeridge is third in Class 2 ahead of Ross Morris. Class 3, Paul Simpson on pole from Sam Beckett, Barry Strong and Mike Thompson. Lights on the gantry. Out go the lights. A little bit of a leap there from Mark McAleer, not in terms of jumping the start, but I don't think that's what he wanted. Kevin Harrison from the outside, which is often beneficial here at Brands, gets a terrific start, leads as Simon Clark challenges McAleer for second place. Looking back from Ross Morris. Richard Baston on his inside line in the 944. They're all coming up to Druid's corner. Outside line from Matt Kyle Henney. Good to see the number 4 car of Andy Toon to his inside. Matt Kyle Henney squeezed just a little bit there by the man third in the Class 2 Championship, James Coleman. Race leaders, though, along Cooper Straight for the first time. There was also Jake McAleer slowing up as we went down the hill in the background. So Jake McAleer with problems. That is not good to see for the second row man as the cars come into, that's Richard Baston making a move, makes contact with Matt Kyle Henney. Bang! Into Matt Kyle Henney goes Ross Morris. Richard Baston continues on his way, but that's the first two in the championship for Class 2. Both, I think, out of the race. Yes, they are out of the race as Ross Morris parks up. That is going to make the championship even more topsy-turvy than it was. James Coleman with the opportunity, he's got a drop score already, James Coleman, with the opportunity to retake the championship lead on overall scores. Now, there is Julian Morris. I was about to ask whether we'll get a safety car because there is bodywork on track. There it is. Matt Kyle Henney's bumper needs to be recovered. Obviously, there'll be heavily waved yellows up there at Clearways. But, having a little moment there coming out of Graham Hill Bend is Julian Morris, moving up to Class 2 from 3 last year. Had a 5th place at Alton Park in round 4. Richard Baston goes past the, I was going to say scene of the crime, but he was having a look on the inside line and made some light contact, which caused those two front-running championship cars to go out, and now they get a walk back to the pits. They're on the inside of the track, of course, here. So can walk back to pits, and not what we wanted. We wanted to see a nice battle between all of the top guns in Class 2, but we're going to be denied that, unfortunately. So it is Kevin Harrison, the race leader, Mark McAleer in second, and out comes the safety car, whilst the marshals have to, as ever, do their great work to get the track in A1 condition, ready for the restart. So the car's coming along Cooper Straight through Surtees. McLaren is where we are here. James Coleman ahead of Richard Baston at the moment. So James Coleman actually only 6 points down on Matt Kyle Henney, who is 1 point down, as you saw on the graphic at the start of the programme, on Ross Morris. It's very, very close in Class 2. And James Coleman must have been wondering if he was going to get the lead here today. Ready to go racing again. Marshals having done their usual sterling work here at Brands Hatch. And Pete Morris, the man being chased at the moment by James Coleman. Coleman, the leader in Class 2. Let's watch the restart. Well, Kevin Harrison and Mark McAleer have got away from Simon Clark. Very good safety car restart by both of those guys out front. And Mark McAleer very switched on at that restart, you've got to say, as we watch third and fourth, the brace of Caymans. The number 9, Chris Dyer, busy chasing third place car Simon Clark at the moment. 4 cars for the lead. 5th position is Pete Morris. And through Druids they go. A little bit further back, James Cayley up ahead of Barry Strong, and Julian Morris struggling a little bit as he goes into Druids chasing Sam Beckett in the Class 3 Boxster. Top 4 still all battling for the lead. They will encounter some traffic as the race goes on in terms of the Class 3 cars and the Class 2s as well. And the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, of course, tends to accentuate that because it is one of the shorter tracks that we race on. So Julian Morris in Class 2 looking up the inside line there of Sam Beckett. That car having won both the races in Class 3 at Alton Park in the hands of Alistair Nelson. battle on for second now because Simon Clark's getting his skates on. Richard Baston is under pressure, and Charles Clark with the watching brief there, trying to get stuck in. Nice to see the 944 racing, and a spin off onto the infield goes Bill Cayley, who was running very well there. Bill still with his new driver sticker on the back, as you can see, but was up there and fighting for a podium, but spins off. We'll see whether he can get back on track. There is Andy Baker running in Class 2. Andy looking to try and get some improvement in his lap times as the Class 3 heading Class 2 battle goes up around Clearway. So we'll see whether Julian Morris can recover. Already had that moment down at Cooper Straight earlier on. Kevin Harrison is out, far from race rusty. Kevin Harrison, great to see him back in the Petro Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli, and wouldn't it be great if he had the opportunity to come back full time? I hope that he can in 2021. Whatever happens, he will come back from time to time. Oh, it's Andy Toon, isn't it, in front of Pete Morris here. Morris, who has again had a very, very competitive and consistent year with a 4th and 3 thirds, but Andy Toon up ahead of him, so Andy's going to be pleased about that. Pete Morris less so. Also less pleased will be Sam Beckett, who is, I think, tagged by Julian Morris. We didn't see the run up to that. Looked like there was an acknowledgement of a wave. Class 2 car trying to pass Class 3, as Simon Clark has now gone through and up ahead of Mark McAleer. You can see the leaders starting to encounter traffic. So Simon Clark up into P2. Championship wise, that is going to, I think, hand the championship lead, or earn the championship lead for Simon Clark, because Mark McAleer would have had it with the point for pole position. If they finish like this, then Simon Clark will take back the championship lead. That is how close things are in this championship just now. And Clark starting to get away. The Cayman in the as we head towards the mid stages of this race, looking very useful indeed in second place and starting to close down on our race leader. Richard Baston still enjoying himself, and in car with Charles Clark, who's looking to get up here onto a podium position as they go down through Paddock Hill Bend. And you can see 944 with that little bit of damage on the front from that first lap skirmish. Charles Clark in the 77. I'm just looking at my stats because he's battling for podium position here. And if he can get it, it would be a first-time podium finish for him. As we watch Simon Clark still up ahead of Mark McAleer. There's still not a lot between these drivers, although Clark has potentially got into the championship lead here. Blue flag's being waved by the marshals for the Class 3 runners. That is Barry Strong. Barry keeping to the inside line, which was obviously very gratefully received by the race leaders coming through. James Cayley about to pop a lap on Julian Morris, looks to the outside line. Mike Thompson now being passed in the blue Class 3 car, and that fell slightly better for Simon Clark, who's really got free rein to have a go at Kevin Harrison for the race lead now, and Mark McAleer 2 or 3 lengths back, and that can happen as you start to hit the traffic. And the Cayman having a very good look at the 996, so it is Kevin Harrison who is soaking up pressure, goes down on the inside line of Paul Simpson. That's the leader in Class 3. Clark trying to take a tight line as he comes through Clearways and onto Clark Curve, and maybe set up a potential move on the inside line. This is a very, very close battle indeed, as Charles Clark still battling hard with Richard Baston. It is James Coleman still leading Class 1. Andy Muggeridge in second place. Mark McAleer is closed up again now. There's no lack of pace, is there, in McAleer's car? Whether the 997 is going to be nimble enough to effect a pass remains to be seen. Baston's still racing hard. There are battles wherever you look here on the Indy circuit. This is good stuff. Along Cooper Straight again into McLaren, which continues around to Clearways. And Kevin Harrison still there. Fastest lap for Kevin as well, lap 11, 52.337 seconds. Average speed of 83.08 miles per hour. There is James Coleman, who when he gets in the lead finds himself in fairly lonely territory, tends to build a big lead and pull away from everybody. Did have that blip, as we said, at Alton Park, a retirement, and that'll be his drop score. So as long as he doesn't have any more retirements over the course of the season, that will set him up in good stead within the 10 races that we have this year. Still watching Charles Clark racing hard, and remember that's for a podium position, so Charles Clark here is getting better and better with every race that we see, building confidence. That's what it's about when you start racing, getting your lap times down, building a little bit of confidence. But look at these three, this is fascinating stuff. Sure, we haven't seen pass after pass, but these three drivers very evenly matched, three top quality Porsche drivers, Kevin Harrison, Simon Clark, Mark McAleer, all there. McAleer closer to Clark than Clark is to Harrison at the moment, so it's 996 Cayman, 997 the running order at the moment, as we watch 944 being chased by Boxster for third place in Class 2. Boxster 1 and 2 at the moment through James Coleman and Andy Muggeridge. So Charles Clark, 2 fifth places at Snetterton, a 6th and a 4th at Alton Park, so very much knocking on the door of a podium for Charles. Here is Bill Cayley. So Bill Cayley going into Paddock Hill Bend, having a good dice here with Andy Baker. Andy, of course, the former BRSCC Porsche Boxster driver. Championship no longer running, so it has opened the door for several of those drivers to come and race with us, and in fact many of them were before the end of last year, including James Coleman, who effects a great pass there on Mike Thompson, Class 2 car, popping a lap on Mike Thompson in the number 6, Mike running second in Class 3. A little bit of distance between himself at the moment and the class leader Paul Simpson. Barry Strong third in class at the moment in Class 3. So here is the battle for third in Class 2, and it is still Richard Baston there at the moment. Charles Clark trying to suss him out here. Where can he grab the speed as straight on goes Julian Morris? Is that going to be into retirement this time for Julian Morris? Yes, it is. Into the Retzel barrier. Possibly another safety car as a result of that. Back with the race leaders, still circulating as a trio, and each working out where he can pass the other. Apart from Kevin Harrison, who's just working out whether he's got the speed to hold on at the front. He certainly knows about soaking up pressure, dealt with that safety car exceptionally well. Here comes Charles Clark and makes the move, has a look down the inside line of Richard Baston here. This is textbook stuff from Charles Clark, has a look in, a little bit of contact between the two. Was that karma for Richard Baston? There was a little bit of rubbing, and it just opens the door for Charles Clark to go through and maybe take that third position in class. Did he do it before they got to the start line where the safety car flags are being shown? We'll have to see about that. We did predict that the safety car may well come out to attend to Julian Morris. It's only Julian's second meeting of the year. Wasn't with us at Snetterton for the opening one. There's Andrew Muggeridge. Andrew running second in class at the moment. Pete Morris going through, up ahead of Andy Toon now. So we're ready for our second restart of this race 5 of the 2020 Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli here at Brands Hatch. The fact that we've had another safety car should negate traffic for the race leaders, so it should be a relatively straightforward restart and indeed run to the finish. So they'll be unencumbered by Class 3 or Class 2 cars, we think, as they go across the line to kick off again. And once again, Kevin Harrison makes a decent enough start as we watch Andy Baker. Here is Harrison up towards Druids. Simon Clark chasing. Mark McAleer pretty much unencumbered at the moment by traffic behind, so he can try and take the battle to Simon Clark if he can work out where he's got the speed to go past. But the Cayman does seem to have the upper hand on the 997s at the moment. It's 996 leading Cayman second, 997 in third place. And Charles Clark resumes battle to answer our question as to whether he made it through or not with Richard Baston. So getting stuck in, Mark McAleer running a tab wide there, maybe trying to get a run. And has Charles Clark gone through on the inside line there? Yes, he has. So Charles Clark into third. Richard Baston is going to try and fight back. But the race leaders are onto the last lap here of Brands Hatch and passing in Class 2 right the way to the flag. But Kevin Harrison soaking up the pressure here from Simon Clark. Clark in the 23 car with 1 win and 3 second places to his credit so far. He's not finished yet as they go downhill. Once again, let's see whether Harrison is going to hold on his comeback race here in the Porsche Club Championship. It's his home track, so he's going to be delighted with a win. There is Richard Baston looking on the inside line of Mike Thompson to pop another lap on him. And up ahead of him, Charles Clark heading for a maiden podium. The youngster is going to be absolutely delighted. I'll tell you what, he's earned that. It was a good race with Richard Baston. As down to the checkered flag comes Kevin Harrison to win race 5 of the championship for this year. Simon Clark will get the championship lead back from Mark McAleer by taking third place. The Class 2 honours are going to go to James Coleman. Here comes Richard Baston again, challenging hard in the 944 to look to see if he can come through. But Class 3 is won by Paul Simpson from Mike Thompson, but it's Kevin Harrison who takes the overall win. Here's the official result. Kevin Harrison from Simon Clark and Mark McAleer. Chris Dyer fourth from Pete Morris and Andy Toon. James Coleman wins Class 2 from James Cayley, Andy Muggeridge and Charles Clark, with Richard Baston 11th. Then Andy Baker. Paul Simpson winning Class 3 from Mike Thompson, Barry Strong and Bill Cayley.
Kevin, first of all, many congratulations on a fine win. You must be well pleased with that.
Yeah, really pleased with that. Fantastic. You know, it wasn't easy, especially with 2 safety car periods, because each time that happens, obviously everyone's going to catch right up behind you. But it's great. A lot of pressure, but good fun.
P2 in that one, and getting past Mark, crucial, I think. Championship lead, obviously still loads to play for, but what a fascinating race and what a fascinating year.
Yeah, absolutely. He took a point out of me this morning when he put it on pole, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, that was a really important move for me. And it's great to do it at paddock. I mean, what a high-speed place to do it. So no, it was a fantastic race.
Mark, pole position, but a tough old race. Just talk us through, if you would.
Yeah, very difficult race, to be honest with you. Didn't get a bad start. Obviously, Kevin always gets a good start around here. And once we got tucked in behind him, I thought if we can pressurise him, we've got a good chance of maybe doing something towards the end of the race. But then the Cayman was just so quick through paddock, and I just left him with a chink. And fair play, it was a very good move. Good move. He was faster through paddock, and then he just managed to get it across before me into Druids. So we went to third. I had a feeling I was just hanging on as opposed to challenging, if that makes sense. We were just struggling a bit with the weight around here.
James Coleman, congratulations on your 3rd class win of the season. Looked fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I had a bit of luck on my side for that one. It's kind of an easy race. I wasn't challenged. Safety cars bunched it up a little bit. I thought I was going to get pushed on the restart, but I think they were all napping. I was going to the paddock. I was half a lap in front already off the restart, so that was brilliant, really good. So yeah, nice easy one today.
Andy, congratulations, 2nd podium of the year. Decent race?
Yeah, great race. It was got off to a sensible start, trying to keep myself safe, unlike the last race at Alton Park. So got through the first few corners nice and tidy. There was a bit of a fracas between some of the other guys, but managed to sort of keep out the way, and good, happy days.
What's the change on the car for race 2?
What's the change on the car? Nothing really. It was running really well. Try and preserve the tyres, put some more fuel in it. That's it. Just ready to go again. So kept it safe, and it's ready to go.
Charles, congratulations, your first ever podium in any sport, and I gather no karting previously, but first of all tell us a little bit about that race and a good race that you had with Richard Baston.
Yeah, it was a bit chaos, to be honest. We had quite a few safety cars, and it's my first ever experience with safety cars, so knowing when to go and when to be on his bumper was quite difficult, but he defended well and I managed to get him, I think it was into 30s, which was really good. Really enjoyed it.
What goes through your mind when you're racing? Are you just thinking about the position, or are you thinking, hang on, this could be my first trophy here, first podium trophy?
First trophy, I saw P4 on the pit board and I was like, I've got to get P3. So I push. Had a bit of oversteer in some places, but really enjoyed it.
Paul Simpson, congratulations, another great result, and the Championship League looks intact.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, great win. A couple of safety cars that made things interesting because obviously the pack bunched up again, but yeah, managed to hold on to the lead, so really good.
Mike, many congratulations. So second position in Class 3, a good race?
Yeah, it was a really good race. I was pressing to try and catch the position 1 tag queue car, but just couldn't quite get there. Conditions were ideal, a lot of spin-offs and things though, so there's a bit of traffic going on, and safety car came out twice, so a bit nerve-wracking. Hopefully didn't want to spill on the oil over there, but yeah, handled it, it was all right.
Barry, second meeting of the year, second podium as well, so congratulations on that. Any standout points for you on the race?
The other cars that share the grid with us are actually very, very quick, so they're coming around and catching us up, so you spend a lot of time looking behind and not in front. So I'm a rally driver really, and that's why I've got a vertical handbrake in the car, and so it's a different sort of technique and something I'm enjoying, you know, learning the difference from one to the other. I kind of like it when it's wet.
Julian, disappointing not to finish the first race. What happened, and will you be okay for race 2?
Should be okay for race 2. The brakes were locking up a lot. One of the ABS wires has broken, so let's hope we get it fixed and get back out there. There's a bit of damage to it, but we're a body shop, so we should be able to do it.
Third season, I think I'm right, in it was originally the Resto Racing Championship, and it's a great place to start your racing though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that was the first time I ever started with the Resto Racing, about 2 years ago, here. I think it was in May we first started on the grid with all these guys. Haven't looked back, so now I'm in Class 2, so long let it roll, really. So.
Ross, we love seeing the car with number 1 on it, but what we don't like is seeing the damage, and you out of your overalls, it means game's over. So just talk us through what's happened and what's the level of damage on the car.
Well, I got a good start from 4th place, and I was looking good to get into the top 2, I think, and defend from there, but as we came around clearways, there was a bit of contact with 2 cars in front, and it meant the one car was just pointing in the wrong direction right in front of me, and I couldn't avoid him. Unfortunately, ours is too far gone to repair, and there's not enough time between races. I was looking good. I'd finished on the podium in every race, and I was hoping to continue that, and hopefully by the end of the season it would have meant a good finishing position, but unfortunately we had this happen, and it may ruin the championship, but I'll keep trying and keep trying to get on the podium.
Of course, losing Ross Morris, it's a drop score, but also a non-start in this one, so double bubble for him, sadly. It's an all McAleer front row though here. Mark and Jake from Simon Clark and James Cayley. Class 2 again. James Coleman from Matt Kyle, Henny, Andy Muggeridge. Ross Morris should have been 4th. And Paul Simpson from Sam Beckett, Mike Thompson and Barry Strong in Class 3. Second race of the weekend. As we said, sadly without Ross Morris. But everybody else on the grid and ready to go. Lights go out, and it's the battle of the McAleers from pole position. Super start by Chris Dyer, and well, we said the McAleer battle is going to happen, but it looks like a problem for Jake McAleer, who was in that great place to start, really, you have to say, on the outside. Thankfully, nobody has collided with him, but there was contact there as Simon Clark looks up the inside line to try and get the lead away from Mark McAleer at Druids, and he does it. Clark's got the lead. Mark McAleer second. Third position is James Cayley in the number 11, so James from 4th on the grid. Then it's Kevin Harrison coming through. What a dramatic start with the 44 car of Jake McAleer. Clearly problems in race number 1 and in this one as well. So Jake has now had, that's going to be, if he does retire from this race, that will be a 4th retirement of the season. But I can tell you he is going. The car is moving, so that's the good news. The bad news is it's some way down the field. But what a start to our 2nd race of the day, and Simon Clark looking for a 2nd win of the season away out front. Kevin Harrison, the race 1 winner, challenging for 3rd. In car with Paul Simpson, who looks on the outside line of Sam Beckett, and very much on the outside line at Druids. You can see how much momentum he's lost there with a wide run. So we may well see a different order in Class 3 this time. There is James Coleman. So James, I think now, leading the championship again in Class 2, and with Ross Morris out of the picture, is going to be looking fairly handy to extend that championship lead, with Matt Kyle Henney hoping to score strongly as well, as we watch Chris Dyer hunting down Andy Toon. Mark McAleer still in 2nd place. We've got a Strasser trio there, followed by James Coleman. Yellow and black behind him, you'll see, is Matt Kyle Henney, and they are 1 and 2 in Class 2 at the moment, as Andy Toon comes under pressure from Chris Dyer, who had a good race in race number 1. Chris coming through in 4th place. Very consistent is Chris, 5th position in round 1 of the year at Snetterton, a non-finish in round 2, and then 3 4th positions on the bounce for Chris Dyer. That was a new car for this year. Andy Toon up ahead of him at the moment. Andy in the 996. The 997s, Mark McAleer, of course, James Cayley in the 997, and Pete Morris. So Strasser battle continues, and up front it is still Simon Clark who is there. Fastest lap in race 1 instantly went to Kevin Harrison. And there is Kevin, makes it through, finds the inside line on James Cayley. James, remember, won the opening round of the year. And here is Charles Clark doing earlier in race 2 what he did in race number 1, finding a way past the 944 of Richard Baston. So Charles Clark goes through. We're going to see another podium for the youngster here. It really will have helped his confidence, and it was a super drive, and he had to work hard for that podium, and it was a good battle with Richard Baston in race number 1. They'll be hoping for more of the same here. Andy Baker, Class 2 car, mixing it with the Class 3s. That's the great thing about the Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli. You can have some good inter-class battles, and that's the case here. Sam Beckett holding sway over Andy Baker. So Bill Cayley up ahead of Charles Clark at the moment. Bill looking for a first podium, and remember, he was sharp in the early stages of race 1, and he's looking good again here. So always good to see new drivers on the podium, and we've got the potential as Charles Clark goes for the move down the inside line at Paddock Hill Bend and makes the pass. Super move. And it's the 77 car that goes ahead. Qualified 6th in class. Bill Cayley was 5th, Ross Morris 4th. So they're edging up towards podium pace, those two. There is Mike Thompson. Mike, the first driver, incidentally, in Class 3 to bag a 2nd fastest lap of the year. We've had 4 different fastest lap setters in Class 3. That's how competitive it is. And Thompson the first to double up, as it were, in race number 1. And we'll see what he can do in race 2 as well, Mike Thompson. Alistair Nelson up ahead of Paul Simpson. So Simpson recovering from that wide moment he had earlier on, and busy challenging here for the class lead. The blue car is in 3rd position in class, and you can see now the Class 1 runners, the overall leaders. Simon Clark, Mark McAleer looking to work their way through the traffic. Quick moment with James Coleman, our Class 2 leader. Simon Clark passes the Sam Beckett leading Class 3 car, and Beckett being closed down by his chasers. Kevin Harrison's going to go through on the inside line, and Beckett wide there in red at the back of that group that we were looking at. That is now a battle for the lead of Class 3. 3 of them all involved. Sam Beckett leading on board with Paul Simpson as he comes along Cooper Straight. It's got Mike Thompson in behind as well. It just goes to show, well, I told you about the stats of fastest laps as Mark McAleer challenges for the lead. Looks down the inside line. McAleer going for the lead, but Simon Clark holds on to it. And I tell you what, McAleer here is wringing the neck of that 997 to try and get on terms with the Cayman. They pass Andy Baker on the main straight. Baker keeping a great wide line there. Super stuff from him. Kevin Harrison not far away as well. And again, as we had in race 1, it's 3 cars for the lead. Very little to choose between the 3 of them. And Mark McAleer putting in a challenge for lead position, but now he'll have to maybe negate that because he's got Kevin Harrison in the 996, the race 1 winner, putting pressure on him, and it might just allow Simon Clark to start to build a bit of a lead if these other 2 get embroiled. There is Richard Baston in the 85. The 944, talk about him going up into Class 1 as I chat to people in the paddock, which would be interesting to see, running in the Strasser garage this weekend. Cayman looking very good though with Simon Clark. Paul Simpson looks for the inside line here. A little bit tail happy is Sam Beckett. And through on the inside line now it comes Chris Dyer. So Dyer, the Class 1 car, passes. Chris Dyer going through, and now change for the lead. Through into the lead goes the 88 car, Paul Simpson, into the lead of Class 3. It is a chop to know where to look, isn't it? Because you've got all these different class battles going on. And there is Jake McAleer, who started on the front row, reluctantly, somewhat. He's actually now getting some pace, passes Chris Dyer. So that underlines the pace of the 44 car of Jake McAleer. He's actually programmed to be racing a Cayman, but as you can see, it's not the Cayman. They left that at home this weekend as the development work continues. So he passes Chris Dyer. Meanwhile, this is the outright lead trio who have to deal with the traffic. That looks like a problem for Andy Toon. It is Andy Toon very sadly off into retirement. Jake McAleer recovering extremely well, and after a dismal start he's going to get some points back here. It's going to be too late for any sort of mount to the championship. Here is Mike Thompson. Mike now I think losing a bit of ground on the Class 3 race leader, but fascinating battle while we had it. Still leading Class 2 was James Coleman in the white 47 Boxster, and here's our race leader Paul Simpson in Class 3. Matt Kyle Henney is chasing James Coleman for second position, so the yellow and black car there, second position in Class 2, chasing the second place man in Class 3, and about to try and put a lap down on him. And here is our Class 2 leader, James Coleman, with a 4th class win of the season in race number 1, looking to make it 5 here. A little bit sideways there for James Cayley, pops a lap on Richard Baston. Richard looking for a second podium of the year. Was second at Alton Park in the 944. And James Cayley at the moment in 7th position in the race. There is Jake McAleer, lights on, and Jake busy trying to make as much ground as he can in this race. There's Pete Morris, podium Pete. He's not been on the podium so far this weekend, and it will be a very rare weekend if Pete is not on the podium. Always like catching up with him on the podium. Loves his racing. Good to have a natter with him on the way into the track this morning. And here is the race leader, though, going past Barry Strong. Mark McAleer still busy chasing as we catch up here with Bill Cayley. Bill running in 4th position at the moment, so Charles Clark is on for another podium. So super meeting for Charles Clark here at the moment. It's the leading car is James Coleman, as we said, in Class 2, or was. James Coleman looks like he's had a problem for he's still carrying on. I was about to say that Coleman was going to come into pit lane, but all does not look well with the 47 car. We'll have to see how that develops. This is developing nicely. Mark McAleer is really putting the pressure on the race leader. Kevin Harrison still there as well. These 3 drivers very evenly matched, and at the moment you have to say that Simon Clark did the hard work really on lap 1, or probably the hardest task was going to be getting past, which he did on lap number 1. But now, of course, having the endurance part of it, having to stay in front. Back with Richard Baston very briefly. Super drive as well from Kevin Harrison in third. These three at the moment still clear of Pete Morris, and Pete Morris and Jake McAleer having a good battle at the moment. This is for 4th position, and Pete holds the upper hand at the minute, so you usually see a Morris dicing with a McAleer at some point during the race meeting, and it's happening here. Jake really getting himself back in the mix. Pete keeping tight there as they went through McLaren, and again keeping it tight at clearways, which is the right thing to do defensively. Make the long way round the way to go for Jake McAleer. Here they come again along the Brabham straight, and you can see Pete on the inside line. There's a bit of room there, but Jake might possibly be able to go for a cutback if there's going to be space. Again, Pete keeping it tight as they go through Paddock Hill Bend and down through Halewoods with James Coleman. Now, did he have a problem, James? It looked like he was slowing earlier on. Intermittent fault, possibly? We'll have to wait and see. Back to the scrap for 4th place. Jake McAleer can afford the wider line as they go through Graham Hill Bend, along Cooper Straight. This might tee up the inside at Surtees, but Pete Morris has got that covered in the 997. Peter will hold on to 4th position at the moment. Here they come, closing down on Barry Strong. Barry hoping to get another podium here as well in Class 3. A 3rd one of the year, if he can do that. The 4th position cars, though, go to his outside. Nice stuff from Barry Strong, keeping it on the inside line. Maybe fell slightly better for Pete Morris there. There's Bill Cayley, still running strongly on his own as well at the moment. Is Bill. So they've now cleared Barry Strong. We'll see whether Jake McAleer can close down again. Lap times wise, Jake McAleer, best lap of 52.2. Pete Morris of 52.4. So Jake on his better laps, and that is ominous smoke. That's the Class 2 leader. It must have been a problem for James Coleman, who is nursing the car across the line. And James Coleman is out of the race. A 2nd retirement of the year. That is definitely not what we wanted to see. It is not what James Coleman would have wanted either. And it means the Class 2 lead now is with Matt Kyle Henney, who's challenging Andy Baker, wants to put a lap on Andy. He's got the overall race leaders in the mix as well. Through comes Simon Clark in the lead, and you can see Mark McAleer relentless in his pursuit. There's barely a car length between 1st and 2nd position here, and this is what it's been like pretty much all weekend. They've managed to get away a little bit from Kevin Harrison now. Kevin's still in 3rd place, but the battle for the lead is still very much on, and Mark McAleer has worked hard here. Simon Clark, though, will extend the championship lead if he stays in front. Jake McAleer's got the fastest lap of this race. That'll be a little bit of consolation for him. So too for James Coleman as the leaders go on to the last lap. Mike Thompson looking to make it a 3rd fastest lap of the year in Class 3 at the moment. There is Barry Strong running 3rd. Now Class 2, Matt Kyle Henney leads that. Charles Clark is up into 2nd, and Bill Cayley on for a 1st podium here. Here is Matt Kyle Henney, on board from him. His dad Peter, of course, we know from racing in Porsche Carrera Cup Great Britain, and Matt following in his dad's wheel tracks in superb style at the moment. Race leaders along Cooper Straight for the last time. The battle between Simon Clark and Mark McAleer. I don't think Mark is close enough, but the former champion still piling on the pressure, as he has done all the way through this 25-minute race. Here they come, and it's going to be Simon Clark to take a 2nd win of the year. Hasn't finished lower than 2nd all year. Simon Clark takes the win in the Cayman. Mark McAleer 2nd. Kevin Harrison is 3rd. Matt Kyle Henney takes the flag, wins Class 2. Charles Clark 2nd in Class 2 from Bill Cayley, a 1st podium for him. And Class 3 going to Paul Simpson in the 88 car from Mike Thompson. A dramatic race. Talking of Thompson, it's the Thomson Reuters car that has taken victory at Brands Hatch as we watch Richard Baston. He's in 4th position in Class 2 in the 944. brings the car home again, a little bit understeer as he goes around clearways and heads down towards the checkered flag. Here is Charles Clark, who will take another career best, second position this time for Charles Clark. Here's how they finished. Simon Clark from Mark McAleer and Kevin Harrison, Pete Morris in fourth from Jake McAleer and Chris Dyer, James Cayley next up. Class 2 won by Matt Kyle-Henny from Charles Clark, Bill Cayley and Richard Baston 11th. Andy Baker next. Paul Simpson, the Class 3 winner. Mike Thompson, Barry Strong, Andy Muggeridge and Sam Bennett completing the finishers.
Simon Clark, congratulations on another fine win and good position as we head to Alton Park.
Yeah, really good. I couldn't really have wished for a better set of results actually. So we got all the sponsors here in the box up there, and just it was really feels good. It was the longest race I've ever raced, I think.
You two very close between you and Simon this weekend.
Yeah, I mean that race there, bizarrely, was the best the cars felt all weekend, which is quite strange. But anyway, that's by the by. Yeah, I mean a great race. I felt I was quicker, but of course being quicker and getting past is two different things. So he defended very well, a little bit maybe. But yeah, good race.
Kevin, another podium and really some fun racing this weekend.
Yeah, do you know what? That was really hard. It was good fun. Back markers were a bit of a problem. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. And to race closely with those two guys, they're so safe. Very similar pace. And you're trying to think two corners ahead and thinking, well, where could I get past? But yeah, it was the right result and it was a really good race. Yeah.
Matt, congratulations on the win. You didn't know how the car was going to handle when we spoke to you before the race, but clearly it was okay.
Yeah, it was awful.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, we had loads of vibration and high oil temperatures and everything. So I saw that Andrew unfortunately dropped back behind me, so it gave me a bit of room to sort of cool the car down, make sure that we got to the end, and yeah, we needed that bit of luck after this morning.
Charles, congratulations, another step up on the podium and driver of the race. What a weekend for you.
Thank you, I'm so happy. I didn't even know I was second in that race. I thought I was third, and then I came in and my dad's pointing his fingers up saying second. So really happy.
I'm with Bill Cayley. Superb, mate. A podium in your first season of racing. We've had two first podiums today in Class 2. It shows how competitive the class is. Well done, and just tell us about how it feels.
Thank you. I can say it feels pretty good. I came in thinking I'd come fourth, sort of coming in thinking I was going to go straight into the garage to get sent down to the podium. Was a bit of a shock, quite a good feeling really, and say it was me and Charles, he was sort of having a bit of a battle first half, and then he got the better of me halfway through, and then it's quite nice to know that he's on the podium as well. Two newcomers, hopefully going to keep moving on.
Congratulations, another win. Rounds off a great day for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to my sponsors, First Day Security and Super Touring Motorsports.
Any problems in that race?
No, absolutely no problems whatsoever. Super Touring have done a brilliant job of keeping the car running today, so perfect.
So what about the championship standings? It is Simon Clark who leads by 5 points from Mark McAleer. Pete Morris still on the podium in third. James Cayley fourth from Chris Dyer and Jake McAleer in sixth. Class 2. That's headed by Matt Kyle-Henny now. James Coleman 2 points adrift from Charles Clark, Bill Cayley, Andy Muggeridge and Ross Morris in 6th. Class 3 headed by Paul Simpson, 22 points clear of Mike Thompson with Alistair Nelson, Sam Beckett, Barry Strong and Stephen Shaw next up.
Very sadly, that's all we've got time for today. We've now reached the halfway point of the season. Next time out we're at Alton Park. But time to reflect on some great racing today. A double win in Class 3 for Paul Simpson. Honours shared between James Coleman and Matt Kyle-Henny in Class 2. Class 1, of course, returnee Kevin Harrison taking a win, and the new championship leader Simon Clark taking the win in Race 2. Thanks ever so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.